clock is at the wrong time. I'm not just saying that because the clock's changed today and my watch says about 10 to 11. It's the 27th of October 2024 and the clocks were put back. In other words, we gained an hour's sleep. My mechanical watch may say approximately 11 a.m, but my phone is likely to say approximately 10 a.m. However, that clock up there, well, that's still wrong by another 3 minutes. You see, that clock is fast by 3 minutes. And generally speaking, for almost every day of the year, it's always fast by 3 full minutes. So the story goes that the North British Hotel, which is this, well, it's now called the Balmoral Hotel, put the turret clock forward by 3 minutes in time. It was 3 minutes fast and still is 3 minutes fast. This was on the request of the North British Railway Company, who wanted to ensure that their customers, if they checked the time on the clock, would presume that maybe they were cutting it a bit fine or perhaps had to speed up and would get there on time to catch the train. Nice public service idea. And I should explain that the clock was put forward in time by 3 minutes in 1902, so most people didn't have smartphones and not everyone had a watch to hand, so they would tend to check the time on the public timepieces. Clever idea. And that got me thinking about a story that I heard from a few years ago. A couple of young IT people who were by all accounts decent people but had a fairly extreme version of what constituted simply hijinks. These two young IT people decided that it would be fun if they could intercept the emails of a male colleague of theirs. In terms of really just a practical joke, I think that's what they were trying to do. But anyway, they also decided that because they knew that their male colleague liked another colleague, a female colleague, it would be a bit of a wizard wheeze if they just changed some of the emails that were coming back in to the male colleague from the female colleague. Hopefully you're with me so far. Just subtle changes, little things here and there, which made the emails from the female colleague seem just a little bit more friendly. And then, through time, the male colleague kind of responded with more friendly emails from him going back to her. Now, I am aware that morally and ethically and also legally this is not a good thing, and do not try this at home. What happened was the male colleague began to say to people, hey, look, I think that so-and-so likes me and maybe I should go and ask her out for a cup of coffee or something. And at that point, I think some people realized there was a particularly unusual set of circumstances unfolding, and essentially the male colleague was informed what had been going on. I don't know whether the female colleague was informed, I'm not sure, didn't get that part of the story. But it always stuck with me, that story, because if you think about it, that male colleague, his reality was shifted, it was changed for quite some time. And it was changed in a subtle way, but potentially ultimately powerful and possibly detrimental. When you think about it, so much of what we're doing these days is online. And so much of what we believe to be true is based on what we're being told by electronic means. And that's one of the reasons that I think it's very important to maintain the ability to meet in person, to talk to people, to gather, and to discuss things in an unfettered way, because in actual fact, if we lose the ability to do that, and all we're allowed to do, if we're not careful, it will be only allowed to do or have access to, is something which is curated by big platforms and perhaps with a lot of money driving what is allowed to be curated, or at least put to the forefront. And I believe that in that mix is the importance of freedom of speech. It is important not to incite hatred and violence and all that stuff, but it is important to be able to speak our mind, and it's important to be able to speak our mind online, but also, as I've suggested, in person. And so I come back to the idea that that old clock back there, it isn't accurate, and people around here, well, a lot of them at least, know about it, and it was done with good intent. But these days, who knows what the intent is? And some people, whether we like it or not, are bad actors, and within those bad actors there will be those who want to obscure and change and distort the truth to give us their version of it, which may be nothing like the truth whatsoever.